Do you know Josh's status yet for tonight?
He's in.
Hey, Mike, what went into that? Did he have to have like treatment this morning? Was he getting treatment recently, or was he just good to go once you guys got down here today?
He could be good to go, but he may.
I didn't hear the question, sorry.
Just treatment this
Yeah,
morning?
He hit it last game and he's just getting treatment, so, yeah.
What has Josh been able to bring for you guys in the series, especially his defense's energy and everything?
Yeah, his versatility is huge, whether it's offensively or defensively. Offensively, he pushes the basketball, playmaking struggles, but he helps us play faster. Defensively, he gives us versatility because we can move him around, as strong as he is, and the feel that he has on that floor. And then girls' ability to rebound, if you want to cross match and put smaller down, he can type the game hit glass.
Like, just what is that versatility done for you to have him, Mikel, and OG all who can guard small to big?
Yeah, this is what you look for. If you have guys that are, 6'8", 6'9", and move like deals, but tough, you can bring a lot to the table for you. And, Josh and I got a public disagreement about his size, so he might not be 6'8", 6'9", but strength, toughness, mentality, physically, mentality. Way, he basically can do those things, even though he is 600.
Mike, the last two games, by far the best.
Hey, I saw that State Farm commercial.
State Farm commercial? I'm like, man, she doing it. Take me through the arc of the series, because I think the last two performances by this team really demonstrated sort of the veteran core that we talked about coming into the series. I know it started game one, but game four, like by the time this thing is tied, like did something change, or is it just familiarity with the opponent at that point, like that allowed the guys to take the next level in their performance?
It's all that and some, it's one of these things with 7-game series because it's a 1-game series, anything can happen. 3-game series, similar, but 7-game series, they had time to figure some things out. We had time to figure some things out. They definitely, I give Queen Schneider and staff a lot of credit, their team. They definitely forced us, and when I say us, I'm not just talking about our players, starting with me, to the rest of my coaches, they forced us to find ways to be better, to help the team better. And sometimes when you win, you make adjustments. Sometimes when you lose, you make adjustments. So you're always trying to think of how can we put our team in a better position to help them succeed on the floor. And not to say that we have it figured out, but every single time we step on the floor, we're trying to do that. When you're watching film, when you're going through a million different hypotheticals, which you don't do during regular season. And our guys, they're a veteran group, they've been through a lot. They have mental toughness, a physical toughness, and they've shown it. And so, I've been able to help them more as we've gone on, but they've also increased their level of play, and they have to keep increasing their level of play. A closeout game is the hardest game of the year. It's just, it is. And, we always talk about boxing out. We always talk about getting back in transition. It's going to be double that tonight. I mean, it's going to be hard on our guys because they've been through it. They have the mentality to understand what it takes to go get it. But again, you give Atlanta credit because, and I think Atlanta would probably say the same. I think they would feel like we've helped them get better too. And so it just goes both ways, but it's not just the players figuring stuff out or clicking or whatever. It's us continuing to find ways to help them. And like I said, we changed our offense halfway through the season. We changed it again during the playoffs, and it's helped our guys.
Mike, the last two games, 24% from three, 31% from three, that's what you did with that lineup. What have you seen as far as your three-point defense? Has it just been closeouts? Has it been missing shots? Has it been maybe more of an attention to detail like you've been referencing?
A combination of all that, I gotta give the players a ton of credit first because they're out there, they're trying to follow the game plan, and they're giving them multiple efforts at the highest sense of urgency level as possible. But in the same breath, Brendan O'Connor, our defensive coordinator, Darren our assistant defensive coordinator, those guys are two-headed snake, and they've been phenomenal. Everybody else has chipped in from Rick, to Christian's quote-unquote offensive coordinator, Chris, Mo Cheeks, Ricky Foy, this handle personnel, like all those guys have been phenomenal to help us prepare. And again, I give players the ultimate credit at the end of the day, but I would be not doing my job if I did not mention Brendan O'Connor, Darren Irvin, Rick Brunson, Mo Cheeks, and the rest of the crew, because those guys have been fantastic in a lot of ways, but especially with our preparation defensively.
All right, we're gonna do two more.
You kind of led me in because I was going to ask you about Darren. He was one of the holdovers from the previous staff. I guess, what's the process like for you getting to know those coaches' strengths and weaknesses and how you want to implement them on your own staff?
It takes time. One of the hardest things is to come to a team and think that in the first year everything's going to be figured out perfectly. It takes time, and if you don't have the time or more than a year, to do it within a year, you got to have some luck too. And with Irvin, it was easy for me to keep him. I met Irvin when I was between jobs. I can't even remember the year, but Brad Stevens was the head coach in Boston. He used to have these chalk talks in the summertime, and I went out to one of those, and Irvin was, I don't know what he was. He was a jack of all trades. He see the floor, he helped defensively, he worked guys out, he worked all their son out, he did everything. And so he was hanging around, and one day we just got to talking, and like, hey, let's go get some beers. And so he and I went to get beers, and just the two of us, and we've been buddies ever since. We look at the two of us, it's a really odd couple, but I got a lot of love for the guy.
Coach,
Last one.
you've coached in some high intense situations, LeBron in Cleveland, coached the Los Angeles Lakers, an assistant there in Golden State. What have those experiences taught you about preparing for, being in this situation with the Knicks where, again, championship expectations are there, there's intense media coverage and intense crowd. Like, how have you learned from those previous experiences to handle this situation?
The biggest thing is just to ignore the noise, because everybody's going to talk, and I'm not just talking negative noise, because for me, it's even positive stuff, and I've said this before, all you guys are great, that's your job. But all these are shit. Even if it's good, because I'm human, and I do, my head, like I said before, I've got big head, so I really try hard to ignore the noise, and being in those situations, at the end of the day, is helping. And it's easy for me to go there because, again, my Pop to me is, I didn't work with Phil Jackson or Red Auerbach, but to me, Pop's the greatest of all time coaches. And even Steve was 4 champions. I worked for both those guys. And I've been around people that have criticized those guys. And if those guys can be criticized for anything, whether it's the players criticizing them, Harvard criticizing them, or the media criticizing them, Mike Brown for damn sure can be criticized. And I take that to heart. I just try to do that because we